The championships, Wimbledon, commonly known simply as Wimbledon, is the oldest tennis tournament in the world, and is widely considered the most prestigious. It has been held at the All England Club in Wimbledon, London since 1877. Wimbledon is one of the 4 Grand Slam tennis tournaments, the others being the Australian Open, the French Open and the US Open. Since the Australian Open shifted to hardcourt in 1988, Wimbledon is the only major still played on grass. The tournament takes place over 2 weeks in late June and early July, culminating with the ladies' and gentlemen's singles final, scheduled always from the second Saturday and Sunday of July respectively. 5 major, junior, and invitational events are held each year. Wimbledon traditions include a strict dress code for competitors and royal patronage. The tournament is also notable for the absence of sponsor advertising around the courts. In 2009, Wimbledon's centre court was fitted with a retractable roof to lessen the loss of playing time due to rain. History. Beginning, the All England Lawn Tennis and Croquet Club is a private club founded on the 23rd of July 1868, originally as the All England Croquet Club. Its first ground was off Warple Road, Wimbledon. In 1876, lawn tennis, a game devised by Major Walter Clopton Wingfield a year or so earlier and originally given the name sphericite, was added to the activities of the club. In spring 1877, the club was renamed the All England Croquet and Lawn Tennis Club, and signalled its change of name by instituting the first lawn tennis championship, a new code of laws, replacing the code administered by the Marylebone Cricket Club, was drawn up for the event. Today's rules are similar except for details such as the height of the net and posts and the distance of the service line from the net. The inaugural 1877 Wimbledon Championship opened on the 9th of July 1877. The gentlemen's singles was the only event held and was won by Spencer Gore, an old Harrovian rackets player, from a field of 22. About 200 spectators paid £1 each to watch the final. The lawns at the ground were arranged so that the principal court was in the middle with the others arranged around it, hence the title, Centre Court. The name was retained when the club moved in 1922 to the present site in Church Road, although no longer a true description of its location. However, in 1984 new courts were brought into commission on the north side of the ground, which meant the centre court was once more correctly defined. The opening of the new number 1 court in 1997 emphasized the description. By 1882, activity at the club was almost exclusively confined to lawn tennis, and that year the word croquet was dropped from the title. However, for sentimental reasons it was restored in 1899. In 1884, the club added ladies' singles and gentlemen's doubles competitions. Ladies' doubles and mixed doubles events were added in 1913. Until 1922, the reigning champion had to play only in the final, against whomever had won through to challenge him/her. As with the other 3 major Grand Slam events, Wimbledon was contested by top-ranked amateur players. Professional players were prohibited from participating. This changed with the advent of the Open era in 1968. No British man won the singles event at Wimbledon between Fred Perry in 1936 and Andy Murray in 2013, while no British woman has won since Virginia Wade in 1977, although Annabel Croft and Laura Robson won the Girls' Championship in 1984 and 2008 respectively. The championship was first televised in 1937, though properly called the Championships Wimbledon. Depending on sources, the event is also known as the All England Lawn Tennis Championships, the Wimbledon Championships, or simply Wimbledon. From 1912 to 1924, the tournament was recognized by the International Lawn Tennis Federation as the World Grass Court Championships. 21st century. Wimbledon is considered the world's premier tennis tournament, and the priority of the club is to maintain its leadership. To that end, a long-term plan was unveiled in 1993, intended to improve the quality of the event for spectators, players, officials and neighbors. Stage 1 of the plan was completed for the 1997 championships and involved building the new No. 1 court in Aorangi Park, a broadcast centre, 2 extra grass courts and a tunnel under the hill linking Church Road and Somerset Road. Stage 2 involved the removal of the old No. 1 court complex to make way for the new Millennium Building, providing extensive facilities for players, press, officials and members, and the extension of the west stand of the centre court with 728 extra seats. Stage 3 has been completed with the construction of an entrance building, club staff housing, museum, bank and ticket office. A new retractable roof was built in time for the 2009 championships, marking the first time that rain did not stop play for a lengthy time on centre court. The club tested the new roof at an event called a Centre Court Celebration on Sunday, the 17th of May 2009, which featured exhibition matches involving Andre Agassi, Steffi Graf, Kim Clijsters and Tim Henman. The first championship match to take place under the roof was the completion of the fourth-round women's singles match between Dinara Safina and Amélie Mauresmo. The first match to be played in its entirety under the new roof took place between Andy Murray and Stanislas Wawrinka on the 29th of June 2009, which Murray won. Murray was also involved in the match completed latest in the day at Wimbledon, which ended at 11:02 p.m. in a victory over Marcos Baghdatis at centre court in the third round of the 2012 championships. The 2012 men's singles final on the 8th of July 2012 between Roger Federer and Murray was the first final to be played under the roof, which was activated during the third set. A new 4,000-seat No. 2 court was built on the site of the old No. 13 court in time for the 2009 championships. A new 2,000-seat No. 3 court was built on the site of the old No. 2 and No. 3 courts. On the 17th of January 2016, it was reported the championships at Wimbledon were among several high-level tennis tournaments being investigated for instances of alleged match-fixing events. Wimbledon consists of 5 main events, 5 junior events and 5 invitation events. Main events: the 5 main events, and the number of players are: gentlemen's singles, ladies singles, gentlemen's doubles, ladies doubles, mixed doubles. Junior events: the 5 junior events, and the number of players or teams are: boys singles, girls singles, boys doubles, girls doubles, disabled doubles. No mixed doubles event is held at this level. Invitation events: the 5 invitational events, and the number of pairs are: gentlemen's invitation doubles, senior gentlemen's invitation doubles, ladies invitation doubles, gentlemen's wheelchair doubles, ladies wheelchair doubles. From 2016, singles draws for the existing wheelchair events were added. Match formats. Matches in the gentlemen's singles and gentlemen's doubles are best of 5 sets. All other events are best of 3 sets. A tiebreak game is played if the score reaches 6-6 in any set except the 5th or the 3rd, in which case a 2-game lead must be reached. All events are single elimination tournaments, except for the gentlemen's, senior gentlemen's and the ladies' invitation doubles, which are round-robin tournaments. Until 1922, the winners of the previous year's competition were automatically granted byes into the final round. This led to many winners retaining their titles in successive years, as they were able to rest while their opponent competed from the start of the competition. From 1922, the prior year's champions were required to play all the rounds, like other tournament competitors. Schedule. Each year the tournament begins on the last Monday in June, 2 weeks after the Queen's Club Championships, which is one of the men's major warm-up tournaments, together with the Jerry Weber Open, which is held in Halle, Germany, during the same week. Other grass-court tournaments before Wimbledon are Eastbourne, England, and Rosmalen in the Netherlands, both combining mixed events. The other women's warm-up tournament for Wimbledon is Birmingham, also in England. The only grass-court tournament scheduled after the championships is the Hall of Fame Tennis Championships at Newport, Rhode Island, USA, which takes place the week after Wimbledon. Wimbledon is scheduled for 14 days, beginning on a Monday and ending on a Sunday. The 5 main events span both weeks, but the junior and invitational events are held mainly during the second week. Traditionally, there is no play on the middle Sunday, which is considered a rest day. However, rain has forced play on the middle Sunday 4 times, in 1991, 1997, 2004 and 2016. On each of these occasions, Wimbledon staged a People's Sunday, with unreserved seating and readily available, inexpensive tickets, allowing those with more limited means to sit on the show courts. Since 2015, the championships have begun 1 week later than in previous years, extending the gap between the tournament and the French Open from 2 to 3 weeks. Additionally, the Stuttgart Open men's tournament converted to a grass surface and was rescheduled from July to June, extending the grass court season. Players and seeding. Both the men's and ladies' singles consist of 128 players. Players and doubles pairs are admitted to the main events on the basis of their international rankings, with 104 direct entries into the men's and 108 into the ladies' competitions. Both tournaments have 8 wildcard entrants, with the remainder in each made up of qualifiers. Since the 2001 tournament, 32 players have been given seedings in the gentlemen's and ladies' singles, 16 teams in the doubles events. The system of seeding was introduced during the 1924 Wimbledon Championships. This was a simplified version allowing countries to nominate 4 players who were placed in different quarters of the draw. This system was replaced for the 1927 Wimbledon Championships, and from then on players were seeded on merit. The first players to be seeded as No. 1 were René Lacoste and Helen Wills. The Committee of Management decide which players receive wildcards. Usually, wildcards are players who have performed well during previous tournaments, or would stimulate public interest in Wimbledon by participating. The only wildcard to win the Gentlemen's Singles Championship was Goran Ivanisevic in 2001. Players and pairs who neither have high enough rankings, nor receive wildcards may participate in a qualifying tournament held 1 week before Wimbledon at the Bank of England Sports Ground in Roehampton. The singles qualifying competitions are 3-round events. The same-sex doubles competitions last for only 1 round. There is no qualifying tournament for mixed doubles. The furthest that any qualifier has progressed in a singles tournament is the semi-final round. John McEnroe in 1977, Vladimir Volchkov in 2000, and Alexandra Stevenson in 1999. Players are admitted to the junior tournaments upon the recommendations of the National Tennis Associations, on their International Tennis Federation world rankings and, in the case of the singles events, on the basis of a qualifying competition. The Committee of Management determines which players may enter the 4 invitational events. The committee seeds the top players and pairs on the basis of the rankings, but it can change the seedings based on a player's previous grass court performance. Since 2002, a seeding committee has not been required for the gentlemen's singles following an agreement with the ATP. While the seeds are still the top 32 players according to rankings, the seeding order is determined using the formula ATP entry system position points plus 100% points earned for all grass court tournaments in the past 12 months plus 75% points earned for the best grass court tournament in the 12 months before that. A majority of the entrants are unseeded. Only 2 unseeded players have won the gentlemen's singles: Boris Becker in 1985 and Goran Ivanisevic in 2001. In 1985 there were only 16 seeds and Becker was ranked 20th. Ivanisevic was ranked 125th when he won as a wildcard entrant, although he had previously been a finalist 3 times and been ranked No. 2 in the world. His low ranking was due to having been hampered by a persistent shoulder injury for 3 years, which had only just cleared up. In 1996, the title was won by Richard Krajicek, who was originally unseeded but was promoted to a seeded position when Thomas Muster withdrew before the tournament. No unseeded player has captured the ladies' singles title. The lowest seeded female champion was Venus Williams, who won in 2007 as the 23rd seed. Williams was returning from an injury that had prevented her playing in previous tournaments, giving her a lower ranking than she would normally have had. Unseeded pairs have won the doubles titles on numerous occasions. The 2005 gentlemen's doubles champions were not only unseeded, but also qualifiers. Grounds. Since 2001, the courts used for Wimbledon have been sown with 100% perennial ryegrass. Prior to 2001, a combination of 70% ryegrass and 30% creeping red fescue was used. The change was made to improve durability and strengthen the sward to better withstand the increasing wear of the modern game. The main show courts, center court and No. 1 court, are normally used for only 2 weeks a year during the championships, but play can extend into a 3rd week in exceptional circumstances. The remaining 17 courts are regularly used for other events hosted by the club. The show courts were in action for the 2nd time in 3 months in 2012 as Wimbledon hosted the tennis events of the 2012 Olympic Games. One of the show courts is also used for home ties of the GB teams in the Davis Cup on occasions. Wimbledon is the only Grand Slam event played on grass courts. At one time, all the majors, except the French Open, were played on grass. The US Open abandoned grass in 1975 and the Australian Open in 1988. The principal court, centre court, was opened in 1922 when the club moved from Warple Road to Church Road. The Church Road venue was larger and was needed to meet the ever-growing public demand. Due to the possibility of rain during Wimbledon, a retractable roof was installed prior to the 2009 championship. It is designed to close open in about 20 minutes and will be closed primarily to protect play from inclement weather during the championships. When the roof is being opened, closed play is suspended. The first time the roof was closed closed during a Wimbledon championship match was on Monday, the 29th of June 2009, involving Amelie Mauresmo and Dinara Safina. The court has a capacity of 15,000. At its south end is the Royal Box, from which members of the royal family and other dignitaries watch matches. Centre Court usually hosts the finals and semi-finals of the main events, as well as many matches in the earlier rounds involving top-seeded players or local favourites. The second most important court is number 1 court. The court was constructed in 1997 to replace the old No. 1 court, which was adjacent to Centre Court. The old No. 1 court was demolished because its capacity for spectators was too low. The court was said to have had a unique, more intimate atmosphere and was a favourite of many players. The new No. 1 court has a capacity of approximately 11,000. From 2009, a new number 2 court is being used at Wimbledon with a capacity for 4,000 people. To obtain planning permission, the playing surface is around 3.5 meters below ground level, ensuring that the single-story structure is only about 3.5 meters above ground level, and thus not affecting local views. Plans to build on the current site of Court 13 were dismissed due to the high capacity of games played at the 2012 Olympic Games. The old No. 2 court has been renamed as No. 3 court. The old No. 2 court was known as the Graveyard of Champions because many highly seeded players were eliminated there during early rounds over the years, including Ilia Stays, John McEnroe, Boris Becker, Andre Agassi, Pete Sampras, Martina Hingis, Venus Williams, Serena Williams and Maria Sharapova. The court has a capacity of 2,192 plus 770 standing. In 2011, a new No. 3 court and a new Court 4 were unveiled on the sites of the old No. 2 and 3 courts. Because of the summer climate in southern England, Wimbledon employs court attendants each year who work to maintain court conditions. The principal responsibility is to ensure that the courts are quickly covered when it begins to rain, so that play can resume as quickly as possible once the referees decide to uncover the courts. The court attendants are mainly university students working to make summer money. Centre Court is covered by full-time ground staff. However, at the northern end of the grounds is a giant television screen on which important matches are broadcast. Fans watch from an area of grass officially known as the Aorangi Terrace. When British players do well at Wimbledon, the hill attracts fans for them, and is often renamed by the press for them. Greg Rustski's followers convened at Rustski Ridge, and Tim Henman has had the hill nicknamed Henman Hill, as both of them have now retired and Andy Murray is the number 1 British player. The hill is occasionally referred to as Murray Mount or Murray Field, as a reference to his Scottish heritage and the Scottish ground of the same name, but this has largely failed to catch on. The area is still usually referred to as Henman Hill. None of these nicknames are official. Grounds scheduled. The grounds open at 10:30 a.m. on each day. On the Centre Court, play starts at 1 p.m., with exception of the final 2 days of the competition, when play begins at 2 p.m. On courts 2 to 19, play begins at noon for at least the first 8 days of the competition. It then starts at 11 a.m. for the junior matches on the middle Saturday and during the second week.